Hi, I'm Mike Glenn, and I am the president of the Engaged Church Network, and we're glad that you have joined us for our podcast. Today's podcast is going to be a fun one for, I know, me and a lot of us, because we're going to be talking about AI. Our guest is Katie Allred. I met Katie when she joined the Brentwood Baptist staff 12 years ago. Oh, I'm getting old. But she joined our communications, and Katie quickly became my teacher in all things social media. Did I understand how people were paying attention to this? Did I understand how it worked, and why wasn't I more engaged? And she has continued to be my teacher in this whole world of social dynamics. And now she has a new book out on AI. So as soon as I saw the book, I gave Katie a call and said, come be on my podcast, please. And she is here, and I'm very grateful for that. She is a native of Alabama, grew up in Mobile, graduated from the University of Mobile, and got your graduate degree from Florida, and has been on the faculty, the online faculty there at Florida in the area of communications. Now works at churchcommunications.com. And that will be a good resource for you to spend some time with for more discussions about this. So, Katie, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And, okay, let's go. What is AI?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, I mean, artificial intelligence.
Right.
Scary.
Yes.
It's like robots.
It's going to take over everything.
It's going to take over the world.
And preaching all my sermons
right.
and all that.
And you won't have a job.
That's right.
Ever again.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the printing press was, 1,000 years ago. They said, oh no, the people will read the Bible for themselves.
Right.
What will they do? Right?
Yeah.
And then we found out it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It ended up well. But yeah, so artificial intelligence, it is a lot of different things. It can do a lot of different things. But when I think about artificial intelligence, I think about large language models, which are like ChatGPT, which you may have heard of from OpenAI, or Claude from Anthropic. There's quite a few different ones. There's Gemini from Google. But essentially what they are like language models, so computers that are trained on lots of words and know a lot of things and can help you in doing research, can help you brainstorm, can help you think through things and organize your thoughts. And soon we'll be able to help you as you are, even now, can help you as you're writing your sermons or answering email or coming up with a presentation, all sorts of different things. There's AI now for, creativity, for editing video, for everything to making images. You can create a picture of Moses parting the Red Sea if you want to in 3 seconds with Midjourney. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world of AI, and it's exciting, but it's also, it can be scary for some pastors.
Okay. I'm a pastor of a local church. Everybody keeps talking to me about AI, and I'm reading AI. Should I be scared?
Well, no. I mean, it's just like any other technological advancement that happens. I think that with AI, I think the frustration comes with, well, it shouldn't write my sermon. It shouldn't preach my sermon. Well, of course not. Of course it shouldn't do that. The Holy Spirit lives in you. It doesn't live in your computer. And so you should really think about where that comes from.
That is so basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the Holy Spirit through you using your computer can help write the sermon. But it's been doing that for years, right?
Right.
I mean, but now.
Because my Bible software.
Right, helps you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and commentaries help you.
Right.
And so...
I didn't even think of a commentary as technology.
And it is.
But it is.
Yeah. Especially now that it's in like Logos and you can search it. Yeah, it's 100%. Like it's software, it's technology. So now these large language models are trained on these commentaries. And of course, you have to double check and fact check and decide what your theological leaning will be and where the Holy Spirit's leading you in that research, and not take what they're saying exact for, granted. But I think it's a wonderful tool for brainstorming and for coming up with metaphors or helping you think of an idea to like start a sermon off with. Like you're like, okay, I'm preaching a sermon on the Roman road, but I want to start off with a story from my life. What kind of story should I think of? And it could ask you questions to to help you come up with that story or think about stories from your own life that you could start and open the sermon with. So yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's really exciting to be able to have someone to like work with all the time. It's like an assistant.
Having a research assistant with you all the time.
Right.
Okay. Again, yeah, you know how naive I am. Let's use the proper term, naive, rather than dumb. Oh no!
That's not true.
on all this stuff. I'm going to write a sermon, and let's say I'm going to preach on John 3:16. I sit in front of my computer. How does AI help me?
So you can literally just open ChatGPT and say, "Tell me about John 3:16." And it will give you some data that it just pulls up about John 3:16. Now, for it to become better, you have to learn how to prompt it, which is where this book that I wrote.
Show them the new book. Okay.
There's the book. I'm sorry, this is the author's copy. So it's got some really great imaging there. So, and actually I created this cover in AI. So isn't that fun? Like this cover was built in AI.
Name of the book?
This is AI Prompts for Church Leaders. Yeah. And
AI Prompt for Church Leaders. And it is available wherever you can get books, Amazon.
Mostly Amazon. I publish it through Amazon. But what it is just a book full of examples so that you can get started using AI and prompting AI. Because a lot of the times just getting started or like just trying it is hard because it opens and it's a blank screen. It's just like writing a book. And you're like, I don't know how to start writing a book. Well, AI is very similar. You have to like kind of back up and think, well, what's the purpose of the book? What's the title of the book? How do I outline it? And then you give those instructions to AI and it will help you do those things. But this helps you learn how to do that.
To start that conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this book is available. Now, you have used the AI to write your own book. A children's book?
That is true. Yeah, I used AI to write this children's book, Child of Light, which is also on Amazon. And I put together in one day. This is a book on it's Christian affirmations for kids.
Right.
And so all of the graphics and all the imagery, everything was created 100% just from AI using Midjourney and ChatGPT to prompt it. And it came up with some really beautiful images.
Yeah,
and I know, right? It looks like, DreamWorks over here. And it was so much fun. A great book. And just a fun thing to put together in an afternoon. And you can do it too. That's the crazy part.
I don't think. I think I would call you and say, Katie, why don't you?
Imagine how great this is going to be for children's pastors.
Oh, yeah.
Or
parents. Can I sit down with my child and let's write our own book?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If you master the software, you can totally do that. You can have the book be about them if you want to.
Yeah.
You can even make coloring pages.
Yeah.
With AI. And so you can make a coloring page of Mary and Martha at the feet of Jesus, learning. So there's so many different things that like just weren't possible just a year ago that are possible now.
Okay. What should I be weary of?
Yeah.
Or leery, not weary, just leery. What should I be careful with?
Well, it can hallucinate, which means it can just make up stuff. So if you don't give it enough context about your church or about like, say you're wanting it to help you write an event description for Easter coming up at your church. Well, you can say, write an event description for Easter and it will write some stuff, but it's going to just pull from the internet.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be very generic.
It's going to pull words from the internet, literally.
Yeah. And it's just going to be really generic and not the best. And it may make up a time that this Easter event starts. And it may like just make up all sorts of information. So you really have to give it a lot of context.
Not unlike some pastors I know who would just under pressure make stuff up.
Yeah, just make something up. Yeah. And or like hand their intern a thing and not tell them anything.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing, is that you can think of AI as your intern, but you have to give it some historical knowledge,
instructions, context, all that. Yeah. Okay. So being lazy with AI.
I mean, you will be able to be lazy.
Yeah.
Yes. At one point, like you will be able to, like, once you train it enough and it has some memory of you,
Right.
Especially if you have the paid versions, it will become more trained on, like, you can train it on your voice. You can build a custom GPT built on your writing, and it will know, like, all of your writing, so you could pull together different parts of your writing just from that.
Like me with 50 years of sermons.
Yeah, you have a lot of sermons. I was thinking about that on the way in. I was like, oh, we could, like, totally just turn one of your sermon series into a book.
Right.
With your, monologues that you have written, and just say, hey, change this monologue sermon into a chapter for a book. And it will do that. Like, it will rearrange it so that it makes sense to read. As
a read.
Yeah. Because we know that spoken word is very different from written word.
Writing for the ear and writing for the eye is very, very different. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got something I can do this afternoon is go home.
Yeah, 100%.
Turn all my sermon series into books and that kind of stuff.
Why not?
Yeah.
I think we should. I was thinking about that.
How will you see this being used by most of us as pastors?
Yeah, I definitely think research is going to be a big part of it. We have a tool at Missional Marketing or Church Communications that I work at called Sermon Spark. And Sermon Spark, you can find it at sermonspark.ai. It does research. It's trained on specific, it's trained on a model with specific prompting already built in for you.
Right.
So when you look up a Bible verse, it will help steer that research a little bit more clearly. So you don't have to know exactly how to prompt it very well. It's a little more, the tool is more tuned in to what a pastor would need. And we're going to see a lot more of those type tools. So if you're, like, not interested in learning how to make ChatGPT be a good research tool for sermons, you could find a tool like that to help you along.
When this stuff was first coming out, our mutual friend Daryl Guardier used to taunt me with sermons that he had written off of my previous sermons.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. Where he'd say, "Here's your sermon for this week."
Right.
And it would be all of my writings from various things that he had given the computer access to. All right, so let me help. Let me my little brain here if I can help it. We have all the words of the world.
Yes.
Okay. And they are written down, stored in various places. Okay. AI has access. I'm being really simple here in my breaking it down Alabama style as I do. AI has access to all these words.
To a lot of it, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I can go to AI and say, I want to know, for the context of this sermon, I would like to know the details of a Roman crucifixion.
Yeah.
And it would do the research for that, rather than me going to 4 or 5 of my books on the shelf. The image of my favorite pastors historically, the great pictures of them are sitting at their desk, pen in hand, paper, legal pad, and 4 or 5
100 books
are open at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the classic picture.
Right.
Okay. No, we don't have those books on our desk anymore.
Right. They're all on the shelf.
Yeah, on the shelf anymore.
Yeah.
So they're off in the cloud somewhere.
Right.
AI goes and finds them and brings them to my computer.
Right.
And then it saves me all the time of that research.
Yes.
And allows me now to start crafting this for the needs of my congregation.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the hope, at least.
That's the hope.
And I think a lot of people still have a lot of feelings about plagiarism and what that looks like. I think it's still the wild, wild west. So we don't exactly know.
Yeah.
I think there's going to have to be some grace for that because, you can probably say, write a sermon that sounds like Andy Stanley. And it will produce something that sounds like Andy Stanley. Now, will it be plagiarized? I don't know. Right now, I think it's still a little up in the air about what that means.
Yeah, when people say to me, man, I stole your line from your sermon, I said, well, that's fine. The guy I stole it from is going to be mad. So.
I know, right? Yeah, well, and that's kind of what I have to explain to a lot of pastors is, do you do you cite every commentary you pull from when you're writing your sermon? Do you tell the congregation? Because a lot of times they're like, well, shouldn't I put in the bulletin or something that, we're using AI?
Right.
And I was like, not necessarily. I mean, do you tell them you're using Photoshop? I don't know.
Yeah. And well, the old line of preaching is you don't want to leave your tools laying around. Mm-hmm. And if somebody comes and says, hey, I was interested in the point that you made about crucifixion, can you give me some more resources? Then you're able to tell them, yes, here's where I found the research and here's some other books or other sources, kind of thing. But it gets a little suspicious when you either know you can't cite anything or...
And I will say ChatGPT is getting better at giving you citations. There is a new part of it called deep research that if you turn it on, it will pull and cite where it's pulling that information from. Yeah. That is new. A lot of them still don't do that. So you are still wondering, where did it come from? But then there's other models like Perplexity that will give you even more citations. So I think that's going to continue coming up. Also,
to work on,
I think too with academic research and that kind of thing, as it continues to grow, we're going to see that we'll be able to filter by, academic research or theological resources and those kind of things as it continues to grow.
I'm a pastor sitting at a little desk, got my computer up. I've just watched this podcast. How do I get started?
Yeah, so you can go to chatgpt.com and open a free account and literally type in there, my church's name is Mulberry Baptist Church, which is the church I grew up at in Maplesville, Alabama.
Maplesville.
Yeah. And
we're from Alabama. We can laugh at that. You can't.
Yeah. You can, and you got to give it some more context, right?
Yeah.
So we're a church of 100 people. We're right beside Isabella High School. We have, a youth ministry and a children's ministry called Little Stars.
Yeah.
And I am preaching on Romans this week. I would like you to write an email welcoming our new members.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Okay.
And then it will write an email for you. Now, of course, it only knows that much that you gave it, but it will write a pretty good email for you to find a place to get started. It's also really great for handling difficult subjects. I think that was something that I found interesting working with pastors in AI. So the AI for Churches work that I do with Missional it's AI-for-churches.com. I know, sorry. The other URL was taken. But in it, we have a cohort and then we do training specifically with churches. But what we found is pastors have used it for handling those difficult conversations or handling difficult emails and stuff that they have to write, specifically, or maybe even around giving or I don't know how to handle this situation. How do I do that? How would I start that conversation? Give me some talking points. And it will help them think through those things. So not even just from a writing, producing content sermon, but also from a counseling standpoint.
Right. Wow.
It can help you think through how to handle a situation or how to word something in a way that still comes across as compassionate. When, you may not feel like you have any compassion left to give.
Well, that's why I drink coffee, right?
Yeah.
So I can take a sip of coffee and even though I'm thinking that's the stupidest thing anybody's ever.
Yeah. I definitely think coffee is the Baptist, liquor, essentially.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you want us to be sure we know about AI?
Yeah. Don't be afraid. Okay. Try it. If it's not for you, that's okay. Just know that it already has infiltrated your everyday life, even if you don't realize it. That when you open your phone with your face, that is AI. If you go to Gmail and you write an email and it kind of finishes your sentence, that's AI. All those things are already happening. Netflix's algorithm to recommend a new show to you.
All the recommendations I get from Amazon about what next book to buy.
Right. All those things are already AI. So just know, it's already a part of your life. And so embracing it now, just learning about it and getting some foundational information will help you kind of along that curve, because the church is traditionally like 10 to 20 years behind on technology.
I wish we were that close. Yeah.
And I think 2020 pushed a lot of churches just to start streaming.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I don't want some major pandemic or plague causing us to have to finally
catch up with that. Yeah. Let's be more proactive on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. How do people reach you?
Yeah. Churchcommunications.com, of course, is a great place to go. You can email me, Katie@churchcommunications.com as well. I would love to have you in our AI cohort, and I can send you that information if you shoot me an email.
Oh, I'll be glad to do that.
Yeah.
Katie has been my teacher for 12 years and continues to be a great friend to me. She can be your teacher as well, and it's Katie@churchcommunications.com. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I am so proud of your work.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. So that's Katie Allred. I'm Mike Glenn, and this is Engaged Church Network. Thanks for being with us.